Everybody's coming down to meet the METS METS of New York town. Oh, the butcher and the baker and the people on the streets, where do they go? To meet the Mets. Oh, they're hollering, they're cheering, and they're jumping in their seats, where do they go? To meet the Mets. All the fans are true to the orange and blue, so hurry up and come on down, 'cause we got ourselves a ball club, the Mets of New York town. Give 'em a yell, give 'em a hand, and let 'em know you're rooting and you stand. Come on and meet the Mets, meet the Mets. Step right up and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life, because the Mets are really something to ball. Knocking those home runs over the wall. East side, west side, everybody's coming down to meet the METS Mets of New York.
Hi, everybody. This is the Baseball Hut, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the people's champion, your host, the Hut. A couple of different technical difficulties, as always, here at the Baseball Hut. Please subscribe to this channel. I'm live from New York, with snowy New York. Got snowed in. Like a lot of people got snowed in today, that's for sure. Now, please like this video. I want to welcome the Mothman, Kid 28. Michael, how you doing? Welcome. Please hit the like button if you will. We're going to be going for a little while, I think. Started a little late today because I was up late working on some stuff for the show today. Because last night I was doing a lot of different things. First of all, we have a Facebook page for the channel. You need to follow me there if you will. We just get started on there. I just started it yesterday. Opened it up yesterday. And let me put the link. I forgot to put the link in the description of the video. I'll put it in the chat. Hello, Dan. Hello, Sean. Now, if you're watching me on Facebook, please go there and like it. It helps the channel out on YouTube. Let's see. All right. Also, I mentioned that we're going to have some. I hired a graphic designer to design some graphics for the channel, and I was hoping to do a thing where you could go and you could buy some different like a hat or something. But the website I saw and I thought was pretty good didn't sell hats, didn't sell baseball hats. It sells everything else. So I have to find a different website for you guys to buy hats from. I don't know. The one thing I liked about this website is I didn't have to do any fulfillment on it, but we're going to keep looking. But I don't have any designs back yet from the designer. And hello, William. And I'll let you know. Hopefully we'll have something by the end of the week. But I got to find the right website, so that might take me a little bit longer. Yeah, it's really bad here today, boy. They said 12 to 18 inches. You can't travel if you don't have to travel till tomorrow here in New York City, which I don't have a problem with. I didn't want to travel today. I knew it was going to be bad. I just had a feeling something or someone in the back of my head was telling me, don't go out. You'd be crazy. Sure enough, it's bad today, boy. You knew we were going to get bad weather here in New York City because we've been pretty lucky all winter. And knew it was going to be bad. Just knew it. We were going to get hit really hard, So please follow me on Facebook if you have a Facebook account. Facebook's kind of stagnant, I think, to a certain degree. A lot of people have left there. And if you're watching on replay, leave comments in the comments section. I try to get back to people when they write to me. Also, I was going to have a show on Friday. I had to postpone it because I'm not going to be able to show up for the show. So Pete McCarthy, who was going to be my guest for Friday, I'll have him on next week sometime. I don't know when. But he'll be on at some point next week. I don't know what day, but his availability is such as for the mornings 10 to 12, which is fine because this is when the show's usually on. We'll get into some of the rules. We'll get into some of the other stuff. But if you're out there traveling, please be careful. Otherwise, I got to dig out a little bit of my car because I do have to go to work tomorrow. From Brian, how you doing, Brian? The Trash Man 108. From the Trash Man 108. Just walked dog, his entire body sunk into the snow. Is it a big dog or a little dog? So from William, so what the early morning news today, Mr. Hyde? Anything brewing? We'll get into that. I'm going to talk about, again, Steve Cohen a little bit and sort of revealing the sort of stupidity that the media fell for because they have a narrative and they want to stick to it. Now, I was not able to get up early enough because I was up late. I was going to call the Boomer Show. Norman Esiason and his partner, Greg Giannotti. I got up late today. But at some point, I'm going to call them up at some point in the morning. Oh, wow. So he's sitting a medium-sized dog then. But I'm going to show you this tweet before we get into WFAN again. I'm going to show you this tweet from last night that SNY posted. Now, SNY is owned by Jeff Wilpon. I'm not ridiculous. The family, Steve Cohen's family, was threatened after this whole thing with GameStop and Robinhood. Supposedly, they're being accused of doing stuff. I don't know much about finance. It doesn't matter at this point. There we go. This is the tweet, which they took down about 40 minutes after it was posted. This is from SNY. It's unbelievable SNY posted this. So he lost a bunch of money in a classic short squeeze. That's a stock market thing you wouldn't understand. So we all started harassing him on Twitter, and then we started harassing his family online too, and he had to delete his Twitter. Now, there's a vague comment about sexism here from the liberal SNY, thinking it's funny, and apparently it's not funny. This is clearly a Jeff Wilpon tweet, because this is the kind of stuff that Jeff Wilpon would do. We'll get into Wilpon too. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, the sort of destroying of the reputation of Steve Cohen. He's only been owner here for 3 months now. Brian, Orioles trading Alex Cobb to Angels, source Ken Rosenthal. Okay. What are the Orioles doing? They've done nothing. Well, if that happens, then I would assume that they're out of the whole Bauer thing, I would think. Let me just take a look at Alex Cobb. Please like this video and follow me on Facebook and subscribe to the Baseball Hut. Let's take a look. So, Yeah, so they basically hear there's vague sexism, which just goes to this Jared Porter thing, if not this whole thing that's happened at his company a few years ago. And well, that's how it comes across, Morph Man, that that they're admitting that they harassed them off of Twitter. Amazingly enough, this is SNY saying this. In typical Jeff Wilpon mode, an apology was issued. It was about an hour or so later. Earlier tonight, SNY posted a tweet that made light of the harassment Steve Cohen and his family received this past week. We apologize for the error in judgment. Does this look like a Jeff Wilpon mea culpa to you? It certainly does to me. Certainly does to me. You gotta understand that Mothman, let me post this. Mothman, they are owned by the Wilpons, so Jeff is pissed off that he sold the team because he didn't want to sell the team. That's not an error in judgment. They wanted to get this out here knowing that it would get out there. It's terrible. I wonder if WFAN is talking about this. Highly doubt it, because most of them work for work for SNY. They're not going to talk about this. And I know a lot of the people that care about the Mets were talking about this, like Darren Meehan and a few other people were talking about this last night about starting our own network. Not me, of course, but he was talking about, Darren Meehan, he owns the 7 Line. Let's go back to this really strange, and it's so strange. As I told you, it is a typical Jeff Wilpon kind of comment. Very passive aggressive, angry, nasty. And so Ascob is going to the Angels, so that would mean I would think that Bauer's going out to Anaheim. All right, let me read this again. So he lost a bunch of money in a classic short squeeze. That's a stock market thing you wouldn't understand. So clearly they want to send out this remark, a vaguely sexist remark from these liberals, amazingly enough. So we all start harassing him on Twitter, and then we start harassing his family online on Twitter. And he had to delete his account. The family was getting death threats. His wife had to leave Twitter. His daughter had to leave Twitter. I want to show you something else. This Barstool guy, I talked about this last night in my live stream last night. The Barstool guy, this Dave Portnoy, he is friends with Jeff Wilpon. And he hammered Steve Cohen pretty hard last week, calling him a crook and a criminal and all this other stuff. He's friends with Jeff. They went to the same college, same university in Michigan. Also, this guy Dave is also an investor in the Alex Rodriguez J-Lo attempt to buy the Mets. So he's bitter, extremely bitter. He looks like a bitter guy, doesn't he? And have we ever seen Jeff Wilpon with that kind of a smile? Whenever going and doing these press conferences, very rarely. You never saw this kind of smile when they have one of these press conferences introducing a manager or introducing a player. So these guys are good friends, obvious to me. Good friends. So is he doing this for his friend? Now, I know how people do things online in terms of harassment. I have a little experience with it. If you're going to harass somebody through social media, you do it to somebody else. You do it with somebody who has a really big mouth. The CEO of Barstool has a big mouth. And he's a distraction from the real person behind it. And that's Jeff Wilpon. It's pretty obvious to me. All right. So the Morph Man. And ironically, on his website, he has Cohen, his King shirts, and other shirts endorsing Cohen. He's a bitter hypocrite alongside Jeff. I heard Jeff was a harasser and never allowed the GMs to do their job. Well, we heard that too. They couldn't decide to sorry about the tweets. About the my phone going off. But this is just a typical Jeff play. I think we know this the history of the Mets in terms of Jeff. I'll say this again: the reason the Mets got sold wasn't because Jeff to run the team. Saul Katz was retiring, who was a silent partner, is also the brother-in-law of Fred Wilpon. And because Jeff is so difficult to get along with, the children of Saul Katz did not want to be part of the business. And since they didn't want to be part of the business, they weren't going to get any money. The one thing about Saul Katz, we never heard peep about him. He's a bit of a philanthropist out on Long Island. He's got wings and hospitals named after him. So he's very charitable. But you never hear anything bad about him. Never hear anything about him. His family wants nothing to do with Jeff. Wants nothing to do with Jeff. So that's why they were forced to sell the team. And Jeff wanted to run the team with Cohen as the owner, which was the big snag with the negotiations and why the negotiations got dragged out another 8-9 months or whatever it was. So it's interestingly enough that this whole thing happened, and you see this Barstool guy is friends with Jeff. He wanted to buy the team. What are they gonna do? If A-Rod had bought the team, was Jeff gonna still run the team? I would assume that's probably what was gonna happen. Let me read some of the chat. Yeah, I mean, Jeff is just a weird guy. He said a lot of weird things. Did a lot of weird things. But did you ever see a smile like this anytime? Never. Never, ever, ever. Never signed anybody or introduced. Never this kind of smile. It's always a puss on his face. From the Trashman, there's been a real lack of baseball news the last 2-3 days, which most likely means something's happening soon. Well, we had the big trade on Friday with Arenado getting dealt to the Cardinals, which was a big deal, obviously. And that trade has not been made official yet. So that would be forthcoming, I would think, probably the next couple of days. They got to go through the money. There's a very complicated deal with all this money changing hands and this sort of extension that Arenado has gotten from the Cardinals. The Rockies got ripped off. Boy. But they were going to get ripped off in that deal. So please like this video. Please subscribe and follow me on Facebook. When this video is done, this live stream is done, I'll have the link in the description. Was in a hurry to get started. I had so much going on here. And if you're out in the snow, be careful out there. We have a travel advisory. You can't go anywhere. Trouble. No shock there, folks. No shock there. No shock there. All right. Now, like I said earlier, there's not a lot of stuff going on because it's been quiet the last few days. Here's the thing about Michelangelo asked, he should start his own network, but they don't have, I don't know about the negotiation rights. It's sort of, the Mets, I think, are going to be with SNY for a while. I'm not sure how many years. From Nerman, can he be gone once and for all? He should be gone. I don't know why he still wants to hang around. He's such a strange guy. He always was a strange individual, quite frankly. Quite frankly, very strange. Just very weird. But he's trying to cause trouble. He doesn't own the team anymore, but he's doing it through other people. It's terrible. But that's what people do online. As like I said, I have my experiences with them, those kinds of people. And this Barstool guy's probably ticked off he didn't get to own the team. With A-Rod and Jennifer Lopez. That was going to be a disastrous ownership situation anyway, because you had two people who aren't married going to buy a team that Sorry about the little technical difficulties. Thought I wouldn't have technical difficulties today, but apparently I do. I think a lot of people are getting used to it. Mets Nick's boring. Owners would have never voted them in. A-Rod and Lopez, a futile situation for them. Yeah, they keep thinking that. They keep thinking that they're gonna they kept saying, well, and A-Rod's like, oh, I'm gonna spend a lot of money. I'm gonna spend $250 million. That's what he said. That they didn't want A-Rod anywhere near the Mets. That's the one guy they didn't want near the Mets. That's for sure. That's for damn sure. They didn't want him anywhere near the team because of his background and all this nonsense. Hello, Hayden. How you doing? What do you say? How you be? Yeah, it's 14 likes. Let's get some more likes in here. We're gonna go on for a little bit. I was hoping to call WFAN, but I don't sleep. I don't care. Also, MLB, Major League Baseball, has proposed 154 game season with the DH, a 7-inning doubleheaders option, and will start in May. It is expected. It is expected that the Major League Players Union will reject that, and they should. They want to start on time, which I don't blame them. Tony Clark better not be all shaky like he was last year. Someone has to have some kind of leadership between two sides, because there's no leadership with Rob Manfred, the commissioner of baseball. Zero. Really, just has to do a better job, because quite frankly, the players union is going to have to take control of the situation, to be honest with you, because if they don't, Rob Manfred's going to drag this out to where they'll start 154 games, 120 games, 90 games, and then it'll be 60 games. And these players want to play. They don't lose the time. That's why you got to start on time. We're 2 weeks away from pitchers and catchers, and there's no resolution to the DH until this. And that goes to leadership with the commissioner. Not so much with the owners, it's the commissioner. And it's a problem. He's a problem, and he's not well liked. I think you all don't like the commissioner. He's terrible. Look, you have no February to start this thing. It gives you enough time to figure out what works in terms of keeping everybody healthy and not getting sick. If you start in May, you condense the season for no reason. It's stupid. It's a stupid reason. Quite frankly. There's no reason to. You're absolutely right, Morphman. They're sabotaging the games on purpose, I think. And if you watch the end of the World Series, the fans that were in the stands down in Texas booed the hell out of Manfred. All right? You read the chat. From the Trash Man, what do you think about the Mets being in the race for Folty? I don't really think it makes sense. How do you doubt he'll even make the team? Well, I don't know. Yeah, they're looking at him. They're looking at Jake Arrieta. They're gonna bring in some veteran pitcher. They both had pitched well. I heard that's the reports that were out there. Jake Arrieta is a former Cy Young Award winner in 2015, and Fultonavich got the name right. Fultonavich. I had to look on Baseball Reference to pronounce it right. Fultonavich hasn't pitched in over a year. He's been an okay starter. He was okay with the Braves. He's okay, He started 2 games on the 500. I could pass on him. Mets talk of Hayden. MLB should start on time. NBA is playing now. Why can't MLB just vaccinate the players? Worst case, just don't start fans. Absolutely. That makes the most sense. Steve C. The HUD hit 1,000 subscribers. Yes, I did. Just waiting for YouTube to send me their notification. Or check out on the other computer I have in this baseball hut. And see if I can register there. But the goal of the channel, really, the goal of me is to get as many subscribers as I can, and be one of the biggest channels on YouTube. Because there's really nothing about the Mets. And there's not really too many big baseball channels that are focused on one team or a specific thing. You know. Gavin the Mothman, stadium that holds thousands should be able to allow fans to come and watch the games. Temperature checks are okay, but just keep scenes separate and have people with masks. Beer may be a problem, though. Well, there's going to be beer in the ballparks. See what they did in Texas. They did it in Texas. From William, Rob Manfred did a horrible job with the cheating scandal. Absolutely right. The players didn't get punished. The players should have gotten suspended. There should have been suspension for the players. Okay. Why you fire the manager? They suspended the manager, then he got fired. Both managers. You don't have anything. You don't do anything to the Beltron. It said that the Mets fired him. So really, no. Now cheating's been going on in the game, but this should have been some kind of response for it. You know. From Hayden, would you rather have Bud Selig as commissioner? Well, you know, you'd probably be better off. You'd probably be better off, quite frankly. You know, at this point, we've never had these kind of problems with the owners and the players union. Everybody got along because the commissioner respected the fans, he respected the owners, he respected the game, he respected the history. Manfred doesn't. I've seen the kind of things that he has said in writing and in speeches that he looks down on the fans, that he thinks he knows a lot about the game. When you think you know a lot about the game, you don't know much about the game. From Mothman, do you believe Cole cheated? Which players would you suspect cheating? Probably all of them. Probably all of them, quite frankly. You know. Let's talk of Hayden. A strike is near, sadly. That's a possibility. When you don't have leadership at the top, you're going to have a problem. And it's been a long time. It's been a long time since we had any kind of labor problems in Major League Baseball. You know. And like I said, this particular commissioner doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He really doesn't. And then you got Tony Clark on the other side. He's not much better, by the way. Now, please like this video if you haven't already. And subscribe to the base. You can't hear me because I'm having typical technical difficulties, Hayden. And as I look out my window, the snow has gotten heavier. Hello, can you hear me? I can read you. Oh, forget about it. There's so much technical difficulties, not even funny. It's annoying after a while, quite frankly. Quite frankly, just annoying. Now, I would point out at some point, we'll fix some of these problems. I use a very cheap computer with my videos. There's a Google Acer of all things. Very, very cheap, but it serves a purpose to a certain degree. But once this channel is monetized, a lot of the money that comes in going to a lot of bills. From Bangkok Baseball. What's going on with SNY and Cohen? Well, as you know, Bangkok, Jeff Wilpon still owns SNY. And they posted this tweet last night, and they took it down and issued an apology. Let me post the tweet. This is from last night. And they took it down after about 40 minutes. Very insensitive, stupid kind of comment. So he lost a bunch of money in a classic short squeeze. That's a stock market thing you wouldn't understand. So we all started harassing him on Twitter, and then we started harassing his family. Now, Steve Cohen's family had gotten death threats. And online too, and he had to delete his Twitter. He is a friend of Jeff Wilpon. And he was part of the ownership group that was trying to buy the Mets that involved A-Rod and Jennifer Lopez. And along the way, you sort of had WFAN just ridiculous. It is very much like Jeff. And they took down the tweet about 40 minutes after it was posted, or half an hour after it was posted. And a little while later, they issued an apology. Issued a stupid apology. Saying it was a error in judgment. Making light of people being threatened online as an error in judgment. Nice, right? Typical Jeff Wilpon nonsense. Yeah, it's pretty pathetic. Saying it pathetic. That sounds familiar. But yeah, so Jeff is friends with the Barstool guy. The Barstool guy went after Steve Cohen last week after this whole thing with the GameStop. We have WFAN going after Steve Cohen, putting the Barstool guy and giving him a platform on the radio station, calling him a criminal. You have Boomer Esiason saying that he's never going to go to a Met game unless he apologizes, unless Steve Cohen apologizes for his tweets. Now, do the dopes at WFAN know that this was a guy that was part of the ownership group that wanted to buy the Mets? I highly doubt it. And if they did, they didn't care. Now, I got up late today. I was planning on calling Boomer and Gio and getting them a little nervous, quite frankly. And I would have done that. I've never called. From Bangkok Baseball, who gives a F if Boomer ever goes to a game? Nobody cares. This is a guy who's always going to the Met games, and then he would complain about the Wilpons all the time. Isn't that weird? Pat Cole, Steve Cohen literally did nothing wrong. Absolutely did nothing wrong. WFN is a mess. It's been a mess really for a long time. Now, I've been thinking about Imes, because Imes was there for a long time, and after he left, he said one of the things that he felt bad about leaving WFAN is that he didn't bring in somebody that could have been his successor. He said he was disappointed. He's very disappointed that they put Boomer there in the morning. And if you think about it, Boomer's been there since he left. He's had Carton, that dope Carton, he should continue to be in prison, quite frankly. I don't care what he says. He's still gambling. Quite frankly. How do you be on a radio station where all they do is talk about gambling? They talk about the casinos around here. They talk about placing these bets every Friday during the football season. He can't do it. He has to leave the studio when Evan does his picks. He can't do the picks. So if he can't do the picks, then there's a problem. And meanwhile, he's got the Saturday show for Gamblers Anonymous. How do you do that? From Bangkok Baseball, Boomer has his compliments where he thinks he's the sheriff of the town. Always, he does think he's the sheriff of WFAN. You know, he should take some more knees for his Chinese masters. What? I shouldn't have said that. I ain't. That's not nice. That ain't nice. I'm sorry, guys. Boomer's a pretty big guy. Boomer's a pretty big guy. Now, please like this video and follow me on Facebook. Subscribe on YouTube. Let's see if there's anything new. Got a trade here. Alex Cobb got a trade from the Orioles to the Angels. Michael Brandel, back Joe Beningo. No. There's nobody more annoying than that guy was. Oofa. Never happy. Never happy. He's never happy. That guy was never happy. Miserable from the moment he got on the radio. All right. Things to look forward to this week. Trevor Bauer. We should have a resolution within the next week. And oh, really? Maggie's doing that? That doesn't surprise me. She's got to get some people to watch a show or listen to a show. So within the next 6 or 7 days, we'll have this thing with Bauer resolved, because I don't think he's going to go past February 8th or 9th. And people had said in the chat that probably the February 7th will be the day that he signs, because it's 27. That's his number. 27 is his number, and he's quirky like that. And he'll probably do it on his channel. He'll announce it. So I'm here 4 years, $30 million plus. And that's kind of what we're hearing. Do I watch SNY? I watch it for the baseball show they have, and then the Mets hot stove show. But the news reports they have at night are just dreadful. They have the same people on all the time. They don't bring in anybody new. It's all the same personalities. Let's get the new take from Sal Licata and Mark Malusis again. Again? You got anybody new? All right, let's bring in Maggie. Okay, it's all WFAN people. They're all negative on the Mets. They try to make it seem like they're fair. Guys show the network is fair. But he knows they've gotten very hard on the Mets over the last 2 months, really since December. A month into them owning the team, WFAN and SNY were complaining the Mets weren't doing anything. But the Mets have been the most active team other than the Padres and the Blue Jays, and I guess a little bit the White Sox. But the Mets have been very busy. But that didn't seem to be good enough for people like, say, Sal Licata, who said that the Mets off-season was a failure because they didn't get George Springer. But meanwhile, they brought in Francisco Lindor, who's a better player than Springer, quite frankly. MLB, Major League Baseball, want to have a delay to the season. They want to put it off till May. Why? Doesn't make any sense. Like I said earlier, start when you're supposed to start. If there are delays, you make an adjustment to it. If teams get hit a little bit with the virus, you quarantine them, keep moving forward. You can't put a delay on it. It's crazy. The ownership needs leadership. They got no leadership. And so, like I was saying, the Mets. The Mets. I'm right. Uh, the problem is that you don't have this issue. You have a major issue with the commissioner. Bud Selig cared about the fans. He cared about the owners. He cared about the game. He cared about the history and the institution of Major League Baseball. And you have the commissioner now who doesn't relate to anybody because he's an empty suited lawyer. Yes, I've been very unlucky with the uh, what I'm doing here today. On Bangkok baseball, WFN is never happy. We have the Will Punts, they complain. We now have the richest owner in baseball, they still complain. They're like an old head going to man. You know, you know what it is. They need the controversy. They drummed up this stuff with Jared Porter. As fans, we don't care about Jared Porter. We goof on it, but that's their problem. That's the media's problem. What has the media been doing for the last 35 years? What is uh, um, the media been doing about keeping women safe in the industry, in the sports industry? I couldn't tell you. It seems like they have a role to play. All I hear is them complaining about men and everything else. You never see them really doing anything. You never see them. It's just ridiculous. You know. For Mr. Chicken, Portnoy is trying to take the stream down. Oh, really? It doesn't surprise me, Mr. Chicken. And the reason is, it's very simple. Because he said some things in that he's going to get in trouble for. Steve Cohen, from what I could tell, he's not one to fool around with. Sure, he's got lawyers, and they're probably like, uh, saying that he could really get him on defamation, all those other. Sorry about the little technical difficulties here. It's not a good day right now. All right, I should be back now. I'm having internet problems. I don't know why. Probably gonna end the live stream right here because just I don't want to keep you here and you're not listening to what I'm saying because it sounds all screwed up. But real quickly, before I go out again, the Mets are trying to trade Dylan Betances. And Dre's familiar. We've been sort of hearing about this over the last couple of days. And hopefully they're able to move those contracts and get them out of here, quite frankly. And if there's anything popping up during the day today, I'll be back. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Because the snow is really coming down very heavy now, even heavier than when I started the show. So I'm just gonna end the show. So please follow me on Facebook, and of course subscribe to the Baseball Hut on YouTube. I'll probably be back later. I think I'll be back later. I don't know what time. Hopefully I can fix the problems here right now. Hut, do your best Steve Cohen impression. I'm a fan. I just want to make the fans happy. Just want to make the fans happy. Yes, I got 1,000 subscribers. Pretty good, huh? And let me see where we're at. To be honest with you, I have the same amount of subscribers on the Baseball Hut as I do on the Comic Book Hut. Yes, you tell them off, man. If you're watching our replay, please subscribe. Pat Cole, you should call WFAN, Hut. At some point, I'm going to do that. If I got in a bro, I would have gone and called. But you never know if you're going to get on. If I called probably Maggie and the Garden Gnome, I'd probably get through. Nobody watches that show. Only people that call these radio shows is the same people every day. Same like 20 people. But I'm going to get out of here. I want to thank you all for coming by. We'll be back later. What time? I couldn't tell you. Hopefully we'll have some Mets news. And yeah, I'm going to do that at some point. If I get up early enough, I'll do it. And I'll call. And do it live here on the show. The only thing is you can't put them on speakerphone. They get all ticked off when you do that. That would be fun. Me talking to Boomer. Boomer wouldn't know what hit him. It would have hit him harder than probably Lawrence Taylor did. Anyway, thank you for coming by. Larry Hernandez, in one of your live streams, you mentioned baseball movies. Have you ever seen Moneyball? Yes. It's a good movie, but it's a little inaccurate because they don't mention. All they talk about is the first baseman and David Justice, but they don't mention Tejada, who's